and holy shiitake mushrooms. So Upper Park Lake is there. Good morning, welcome to Cooley Outdoors. I'm your host, Brandon Scott, and with me today is nobody. It is a solo adventure. Nash is at work, Sabrina's at work. My father is off to the Indianapolis 500 with a friend in their Corvette, so I am doing this all by myself. Where are we? We are at the Dingford Creek trailhead, which accesses 1, 2, 3 different trails and a half a dozen destinations between those 3 trails. I have been here before. Nash and I have been here before, sometimes on video, sometimes not on video. I have done 2 videos here. I will tag them when I get out of the car. It was Myrtle Lake, and then I've gone up the Dingford Road, which is now the lower Dutch Miller Gap Trail, to the Goldmyer Bridge, so now we're going to go do it the same idea, but on the other side, and go up the upper half of the Middle Fork Trail on the Middle Fork Snoqualmie River. I'm going to try and start doing something new, starting with this video, and that is I'm going to start giving ratings. So my 3 things, and I'll post them. I'll post the stars there, and if you want to hear a description about it, it'll be at the end in the outro section, so scrub to there to see the ratings. I will be doing 3 ratings. A access rating, these are all going to be out of 5 stars, so 0 stars mean it's bad, 5 stars mean it's great, and then obviously in the middle. So there will be a access rating, which is going to be how easy or difficult or long or short it is to get to the trailhead from, I'm going to say downtown Seattle, because that's where everybody knows. Everybody knows Seattle. I live close enough to downtown that it's eyeball it anyway. So you got access. You're going to have obviously trail difficulty, and this is going to be in good conditions in summer when it's taken care of, ignoring deadfalls unless there's a lot of them because the trail doesn't get taken care of. And then quality. How enjoyable was the hike? How enjoyable is the destination? How much fun was the day? 0 stars being, I'm not ever doing this trail again. 5 stars being, yeah, I'm going to bring more people on the trail and do it a bunch of times. So there's that. And I think that's about it. I will talk about more stuff when we get out of the car. Thank you for joining us. So being a hike in the Snoqualmie River drainage, you'd figure it would be in all kinds of books everywhere and there'd be all kinds of information on it, right? Wrong. Beyond Mount Si. Well, so Middle Fork Trail is talked about in just about every book ever, but usually the only section that gets talked about is the 6 miles from the Gateway Bridge to the Dingford Bridge. And we're starting at the Dingford Bridge and continuing on upstream. So Beyond Mount Si doesn't talk about it. 55 hikes around Snoqualmie Pass doesn't talk about it. Day hike Central Cascades doesn't talk about it. The only one that'll give it the even somewhat proper amount of lip service is good old 100 Hikes in Alpine Lakes Wilderness by Mr. Spring and Harvey Manning. And it is, of course, under the Middle Fork Snoqualmie River Trail. And the only reason they talk about it is because they talk about the entirety in the trail as a one-way, which is 14.5 miles from the Gateway Bridge all the way up to the 3rd bridge that crosses and meets up with the Dutch Miller Gap Trail, which is what it's called, which is what the trail is called on this side of the river. So we are parked here at Dingford. This used to be a road that went all the way up and up to there where it crosses and started at the Dutch Miller Gap Trail. Well, that road is now a trail that you can probably still ride bikes on, and it is still good enough, at least to Goldmyer, because that's a private hot springs resort, so they still have to have good vehicle access to that. So I've done that already. What we're going to do today is the continuation of the Middle Fork Trail to Goldmyer and then come back. And what's there along to see here? Well, there's you not see it from the trail, but there's a waterfall on that creek. There's a couple waterfalls in that creek. There is Rock Creek Trail itself, which is the back way into Snow Lake. There's a waterfall and a creek over here, and then the private hot springs. And so I'm just doing it for completion, because hopefully we'll come out here and do some waterfall hunting. But other than that, it is 5 miles one way to Goldmyer Hot Springs. And I believe Rock Creek is about 2 or 2.5 miles in, so that'll be about halfway point. And the weather is a gorgeous. Oh, completely sunny and no clouds, and we're gonna go have a great time. So, as I was saying, this is kind of a triple trailhead with a whole lot of options to go do. Going uphill, up Dingford Creek, is the Dingford Creek Trail, which eventually splits into going to either the Myrtle Lake or Hester Lake. I have done Myrtle Lake. I will post that there. And then you got the continuation of the road past the gate for another, it's like 8 miles or so up the, what is that, north side of the Middle Fork Snoqualmie River, which eventually turns into the Dutch Miller Gap Trail. So you could technically say the Dutch Miller Gap Trail starts there, but it's a roadway for 8 miles, and then it's a 7-mile one-way hike up to Dutch Miller Gap, and then it drops down into Salmon-Lasac. I have hiked it to our destination today, the Dingford Bridge. So I've done part of it. I'm not going to post that there because eventually Nash and I are going to come out here on bikes and ride bikes way up it till you can't ride bikes anymore, and then hike the Dutch Miller Gap Trail a ways. And I will post that there when that happens. And if you want to see me walking this, I'll put that in the description down below, between the end of the description and the start of the chapters. But today we are going down what is called like the Dingford Connector, whatever, down over the Dingford Bridge, and then hanging a left going upstream on the Middle Fork Trail. There is Rex there. Say goodbye, Rex. Bye, Rex. And it is 9:40. So it is probably a quarter mile down down to the Middle Fork Trail, and then it is 3 miles to the Rock Creek Trail junction, and then it's another 2 miles or so to Goldmyer Hot Springs, and then the bridge is like a quarter mile after that. So this is going to be like a 10.5 or 11 mile day, and it's 9:40 now. It's going to be 5.5 miles to the bridge, so I should get there sometime before noon or at noon to the bridge, depending on how much I stop. Today is Middle Fork Trail from Dingford Bridge over to Goldmyer Bridge and Goldmyer Hot Springs. Now, Dingford Bridge is a very pretty bridge. I do enjoy Dingford Bridge almost more than I enjoy the Gateway Bridge. And we are coming up to that here fairly shortly, and I got to remember to take YouTube shorts this time around. I will first take a picture of the bridge, and then I will take a short of crossing the bridge, and then the camera will go off for a while, probably just because there ain't going to be a whole lot of other excitement, maybe. Middle Fork Trail number 1003, like there's any other way to go. I mean, I ain't gonna judge. Alright, take a couple of pictures, back up to here, get the video rolling. Crossing the Dingford Bridge over the Middle Fork Snoqualmie River, going from Dingford Trailhead to the Middle Fork Trail. Raise it up. It is a very pretty spot. I might shoot some more long exposures here, which I did before on a previous outing. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. Rotate, look that way. Back over here. And Middle Fork Trailhead. Turn Middle Fork Trail, turn left to go to the trailhead in 6 miles, which I've already done in a previous video, or turn right and go to Dutch Miller Gap and Goldmyer Hot Springs via the Goldmyer Bridge, which is what we're doing today. So let's go. Next destination of interest, more than likely, besides these absolutely gigantic grove of red cedars that are right here at the trail junction, going in both directions, is going to be Rock Creek, Wildcat Creek, probably in a, I want to say it was like a mile or so, I think. About a mile to Wildcat Creek, 3 miles to Rock Creek, 5 miles to Goldmyer. Oh, and all that good smell that you can't smell, YouTube, is fresh cedar cut, because one of the big boys came down. Dang. Oh, but it smells so good. I could smell like red cedar. If someone could come out and perfect a cologne that made me smell like red cedar, I'd wear it every day for the rest of my life. The river's already dropped most of its sediment and most aggressive snowmelt. Probably over with for the season. Most of the heavy lowland stuff is gone. It's already running clear, still running fairly fast and fairly high, and it's just beautiful in here. The lower 6 miles of the Middle Fork Snoqualmie, while it's still a nice big river, because it's the same river just downstream a little ways, the trail is a lot more, how should I say, tame. It's wider, it's a little wider, it's more straightforward, and obviously more people use it. A lot less people are using this portion of the trail, because just over there there's still a perfectly good full-size dirt road to go walk on if you want to get to Goldmyer. So a lot less people are on this side, so this trail is a bit wilder, a bit rockier, a bit more serpentine, but I'm not complaining. I'm enjoying it. Being out here in late May, if you ignore the bugs, which haven't been too bad, but then again I'm moving at 3 miles an hour, so a lot of them are having a hard time keeping up. But I mean, you can just smell and see and feel the forest fully coming back alive and open after winter. You can smell the dirt, you can smell the trees, you can smell the plants. When you have a water crossing, or when you get back to the river, right next to the river after not being near it for a little bit, you can smell the water. It's just, everything is green and exploding out and just amazing. It's just nice, man. I love winter. I love going out and skiing and snowshoeing and enjoying the silence and the pause of winter. But spring, if you can ignore the bugs, it's pretty darn amazing. For once, there's no bird song for the last little bit, which is intriguing. Usually there's lots of bird-os, but whatever. And yes, I'm the first one down the trail in probably a couple of days, so I'm eating and catching every spider web, but that don't bother me much. And here's yet another massive 500-600-year-old western red cedar, almost dead but not quite. Got one new top trying to sprout out. There is, looks like there's 2 dead tops at the very top, but it's still fully alive and kicking. Hummingbird. So after, yeah, this looks familiar. Yep, Snash and I took off right here to go that way to go look for the waterfall and find it. Not the most fun day because it was sleeting and 35 out, but after 1.7 miles we are coming up to and crossing Wildcat Creek, which has multiple waterfalls on it. Lower Wildcat and then some others above that I can see on Google Earth. As you can tell, it's a quite noisy, boisterous creek, as it should be. Oh, you can feel the cooler air. There. Doesn't even look like it has a quote-unquote real stream bed. That's because that's just an offshoot. The main portion of the creek is over here with a nice bridge. So officially 1.71 miles from Rex in 40 minutes. This is a nice new bridge. I don't know if this was here. I don't think there was this nice of a bridge. Nash and I came and checked it out. But oh, it's right there. You can see at least one drop. I believe that's what Nash and I were looking for. It's right there. Huh. Maybe. I don't know. We'll definitely have to come back to this again. I'm probably going to shoot a long exposure here on the way back out. Nice big fat Douglas fir. Cool sign. I'll have to shoot a long exposure or a YouTube short of this, walking up this and then crossing the creek. Yeah, that'll make for a nice short on the way back too. All right, 1.7 miles. Means we got 1.3 to Rock Creek, and then 2 after that to Goldmyer. Well, figured out why we had to have that steep little climb immediately coming out of Wildcat Creek, because they put the trail on an old roadbed. Now this one's obviously been decommissioned even longer than what's on that side of the trail, because if you couldn't see the flatness of the road, you would never know it was here. But it's pretty easy to tell between the cut scarp and the flat. Well, there shouldn't be anything flat in these mountains. This is an old logging road. Who knows how long it has been since it has not existed. I wonder where it crossed the river, because I think I remember portions of the lower section of trail went on a roadbed, but it was very steep for a very long time with no indications of a roadbed back there in the vicinity of where Dingford Bridge was. So I don't think it continued all the way up, but it might have, and who knows what they did. But as soon as we crossed over Wildcat Creek, this is all new tread to me, so I haven't been this far up this trail, and it's a pretty nice trail. I can hear Middle Fork Snoqualmie again. I can see a long ways up valley, which you can't on the other side because the curve is an inside curve on that left side going upstream, so you can't see up valley on that side on the roadside, but you can see. You can't tell too good, but you can see, and I believe that pointy bit there is Red Mountain. Hopefully not too much longer, and then we'll come to Rock Creek and maybe be able to look up Rock Creek Valley and get a glimpse of the big old waterfalls up there. And then not much further after that, we will be to Goldmyer Hot Springs. Oh, there's a squirrel just crossed on the trail in front of me. Let's see if he comes up onto this tree and he yells at me. Oh no, he's hanging out right there. Hopefully I've stayed still long enough to where I can put a little circle on him. Hi bud, I'm gonna have to come across that. Yep. My voice getting louder alerted him. There he is. Hi bud. And as soon as I go by, he's gonna yell at me and probably going through this next bit of deadfall. Well, we are at 2 3/4 miles, almost to Rock Creek, and as the map indicates and the trail follows, we are bailing off this roadbed to go down onto this bench down here to go to what I'm assuming is going to be the safest spot to put a bridge to cross Rock Creek. I can already hear it rumbling. So we're on the roadbed for about a mile between, yeah, just about a mile from the far side of, or after crossing Wildcat Creek to almost getting to Rock Creek. And it looks like we're gonna go drop down. I see bridge works. I see bridge works. And obviously I can see running water, and we're dropping down into the cut. This is gonna be a bit of a pain to come back up on the way back out, but well, gorgeous drop-in spot. And probably crossing Rock Creek, I bet, is gonna be either A, the thumbnail, or B, an intro bit for next year's hiking intro sequence. Ooh, this is cool. This is cool. I'm pretty, oh yeah, this is definitely Rock Creek. So we are at officially 2.9 miles across Rock Creek. Oh wow. We're going to back up a couple of steps and get this on a short. Crossing Rock Creek along the Middle Fork Trail. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big creek, baby. Oh, that breeze feels good. Just a couple more steps downstream. Yeah, that'll do. Didn't see a sign though. Might be over here. Uh-oh. There's a sign. There we go. I see signage. So yes, when you come up out of Rock Creek, make sure you stay to the right on that switchback. Do not follow the trail straight immediately. Hang a right and follow the trail back up along the edge of the creek for a ways. And almost a quarter mile later, you will come back onto the roadbed. And at 3.1 miles, you will reach the Rock Creek Trail Junction. Ooh, older signage. Ooh, that's cool. No sign going downstream. But newer signage, Dutch Miller Gap to the left, Snow Lake and Snoqualmie Lake to the right up the Rock Creek Trail. And then even older signage, Middle Fork Trail number 1003. Continuing on straight ahead. And we're back on the roadbed, but this looks a little more lively, maybe. At least there's moss on the ground instead of it just being bare needles and boughs. So 2 miles, next stop, Goldmyer Hot Springs. Alrighty, we are not at Lundin Creek yet, but as you can tell, there is something very noisy up ahead of us. We have gone almost 4.2 miles, and this is not Lundin Creek, but this is called Thunder Creek. You can figure out why it's called Thunder Creek, not to be confused with the very large river-sized Thunder Creek in North Cascades, but still sounds fairly impressive. We're at 4.2 miles. That means in less than a mile we will cross Thunder Creek, Lundin Creek, and get to Goldmyer. Oh, that is a very cool old sign with the white lettering instead of the black lettering, and it's got the Forest Service badge on it. That's cool. That's old and that is cool. Alrighty. Now we gotta figure out how to cross this bastard. I can see the trail continuing on over there. I'm going that direction. At least I think it is. But yeah. This might be a bit frisky. Looks like the cross spot is right here. Oh! Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Huh. Damn. I believe my feet are about to get wet. Holy crap. I don't see a better way. Wish the water was a little more spread out. God dang it. Well, your foot's wet. You might as well go. Oh, that is scary. Don't know how I'm going to get it back across. This might be a walk along the roadway on the way back. Well, foot's wet. Still not out of it. Oh, crap. Well, that sucks. I don't see, unless you go across that really skinny log there, and you still got to scramble back on down. Well, that kind of sucked. That was cold. And I believe I'm going to stop right here and try and dump a bunch of water out of my boot and wring my sock out some. That wasn't very fun. You can hear Snoqualmie River over there, much more loud and boisterous now again. But directly in front of us, noise, is going to be Lundin Creek, and it's, after walking through conifer forest for the first 5 miles, it's weird that this creek is got a maple grove in it. Interesting, and it's a lot more humid in here too. Yeah. And the smells are different. You could smell the flowers. Flowers. It smells stuff. It smells different in here. Feels different in here. It looks different in here. No idea why it's a maple grove, a deciduous grove in here. We're not, I don't think we're that close to the river valley bottom. We might be though. Or this might just get, no, because some of these maple trees and cottonwood trees are pretty big. So who knows. Interesting little change though. I can see a very rocky stream bed though. This might be a exciting crossing. And if I stop for a moment and look at my map, yeah, Lundin Falls is going to be a ways up the valley, so we won't be able to see it. Well, at least the water's a little more shallow. No signage that I can tell, but you can see we've got flagging there, and I see the trail on the other side. So, yeah, I guess it's time to get wet again. Lovely. Because I can see a spot to rock hop, which I don't. And I can see orange flagging over there. Alright, let's see if we get wet again. This reminds me, I do need to re-waterproof my shoes. Kind of a bad timing to remember that, but you know, I guess I will maybe actually this time go order some mink oil off of REI or something, now that my feet are wet again. And that rock's gonna move a bunch, and now both feet are wet on the inside. God damn it. Stupid rocks. And that foot tried to slide off and kill me. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Fairly recent blowout, as there are still standing trees, alive trees in the middle of the fresh rocky path with very little growth on the rocks. So that didn't happen too long ago. That was Lundin Creek at 5 miles in 2 hours. So yeah, not quite a 3-mile pace today, 2.5-mile pace today, but it isn't a wide, flat river trail. It's got a lot of bouncing and obstacles. Looking up at a couple of really large Douglas firs there, so oh, how long do I think it's going to be till Goldmyer? So that distance wasn't 8.8 miles, so probably another mile to Goldmyer. So yeah, it is 6 miles instead of 5 miles. I thought so. So this is going to be a minimum 12-mile day, if not more, and with 2 wet shoes. Cool. All right, the trail is slowly trying to disappear back into the vegetation. Makes me think most people are willing to try and cross Thunder Creek, but when they get to Lundin Creek and see another creek that they're probably going to get their feet wet, they decide no. But this water we are hearing is called Burnboot Creek. Burnboot Creek. But you know, I pronounce it Burnboot. And it's the creek that runs through Goldmyer Hot Springs, so we're getting pretty close, which is the good news. Bad news is on my way back, I've got 2 fairly large creek crossings, and there appears to be a pretty large bear in the area. Found some pretty big scat in the middle of the trail. I'll put a picture of it right there. But yeah, it's fresh too. It was still wet and the flies haven't been on it yet, so it's a couple of days at best. But I'm assuming there's going to be a bridge over Burnboot to make sure there is access to Goldmyer. So we are coming up to Goldmyer Hot Springs here pretty shortly, and then shortly after that we will get to Goldmyer Bridge, and where I will stop to have lunch, take a long exposure, and contemplate which way I'm going to go back. I mean, more than likely I will go back via, oh, huh, well, I guess maybe I'm not, unless there's a bridge up here, maybe we're not completing this all the way. There's fresh signage over there, along with the old signage, but conspicuously, there's no bridge. I wonder if it got blown out, or if there was a bridge there to begin with. I don't know. There's not very much information on this part of the trail, so I do not know. But the trail seems to continue going this direction. There's flagging there, slug there. The trail appears to go this way. And there's people up there. I'm assuming the hot spring is up there. Welcome to Goldmyer Hot Springs, something, 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 small print. And then Middle Fork Trail and old signage. Well, I've got two options. I take my shoes off and cross the creek, although let's just make sure the trail isn't going. Yeah, the trail's just going here. So I've got two options. Take my shoes and socks off, wade through this creek and cross. Well, the hot springs are private. You have to get reservations for them. Or I stay on this side of the creek, but either way my feet are going to have to get wet again to get home. Whether it's getting wet here or getting wet crossing those two little creeks back there. And I think I'm not crossing this. Me thinks he's gonna go have lunch, take a long exposure on that massive old log there, and shoot a long exposure that direction. But I've been on the bridge over there already, and I'll probably be over that bridge again and just walk this direction a different time with Nash. Probably when we come do our bike and hike. That's frustrating. Oh well. I guess we'll go sit on that log, have lunch, and shoot a long exposure. And hope the bear don't sneak up on me. Because that would be extra frustrating. Well, it is a shade before 1 o'clock. Took me about 2.5 hours to get here. I plan on taking 2 long exposures on the way back. 2, maybe 3. I will for sure take one out Wildcat Creek. It was pretty. Rock Creek I will try to, but I'm not sure if there's a good enough spot for that. And then of course probably over on the Dingford Bridge, so it'll be probably 3.5 hours for me to get back to Rex, so 4:30 or so probably. But it was 6.1 miles to get here to Goldmyer, and there's still probably better than a 1/4 mile to get to the bridge, to the other trail. So it's probably 6.5 miles along this section, which makes more sense. This is on the outside bend of the river, whereas that side is on the inside bend, and that was like a 6 mile or 5.5 mile hump on that side. So you think this would have to be longer than the inside. So the math checks out. So yeah, away we go. And I might take video over crossing those wet creeks again. I might not. Probably will. I'm either gonna take video on the GoPro, or I'll take some shorts, take a short of it, attempt to hold the phone steady enough and take a YouTube short while I cross. But that'll be spicy, so we shall see. So yeah, definitely take video and a short of recrossing Rock Creek at the very minimum. But that's 3 miles away yet, so who knows. Don't remember if I had the camera on going through the other direction, going through this spot, but so I'll turn it on this time. But that's pretty. Normally you don't get an open parkland spot like this low in elevation. And what I mean by that is usually if it's open like this, it's not open with this kind of ground cover. This is stuff you find usually higher up valleys along avalanche chutes, but you can see the open rock up there. So obviously this is an occasional avalanche chute, but it's weird that it's so bulbous way down here when the cliff face is way up there. And then there's one picturesque maple tree sitting right here in the middle of it. This does not feel very, if you ignore the 2,000-foot sheer cliff over there, this does not feel very Pacific Northwest. This feels like, I don't know, I guess something in the Midwest. You have open fields dotted by the occasional deciduous tree. Here, I'm gonna get back into the shade over here. I have half a mind to shoot a long exposure here. It's tempting to. Plop the camera right here where it's in the shade, where you can get that in the sun. I mean, that's pretty picturesque if you ask me. That's pretty cool. But I don't think quite cool enough for a long exposure. I've got some running water to go dance with. So we shall continue. Oh, it's cold down here. Time to recross Rock Creek and make a decision on if I'm taking a long exposure here. I think I might. I think I may. I think I might. Rock Creek, get a couple of pictures. I was too busy taking a YouTube short last time. Snapchat. And it looks plenty wide enough. Question is, do I shoot upstream or downstream? And I think downstream from just about right here is going to be the ticket, maybe. That is such pretty water. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot right here. Alright, new plan. I've shot footage off the Dingford Bridge before, both up and downstream. It's a good spot, but I think that's better. I think I'm going to shoot 15-20 minutes of video here of this, and then I will run the outro crossing the bridge and on the way out. Well, we have made it back to our starting point, going over the Dingford Bridge and back on up to Rex. This really is a pretty river. I believe it's a wild and scenic designation too. I think one of the times we were here, probably when we were waterfall hunting, I got Nash to go sit on that rock. Might have it on video, I don't know. Can't remember if we were doing YouTube yet when we did that adventure. Oh yeah. Pretty water. Pretty country. And this is just barely scratching the surface. Oh, that smells so damn good. Got me a chunk of cedar. Stick it in my car, stick it in my house. Make it smell so damn good. Smells so damn good. Anywho, I suppose I should run the outro. Thank you for joining me on this Cooley Outdoors adventure. I have been your host, Brandon Scott. This was the Middle Fork Snoqualmie Trail from Dingford Bridge up to Burnboot Creek at Goldmyer Hot Springs. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you disliked it, go ahead and hit the dislike button. Either way, please tell me what you did or did not like it in the comment section down below. And when I get a tad further away from Dingford Creek, I will give my ratings. Although I can put the stars up right now and talk about them. All right, so first of all, accessibility rating. I'm gonna give it 3 stars out of 5. Reason being I'm not giving it a 5 out of 5 because the last 6 miles are on a dirt road and there's enough stream crossings and large potholes and such to where your average Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, so on and so forth ain't gonna make it. As you know, I drive a slightly lifted 4x4 vehicle, a Nissan Xterra, so I didn't even have to put it in 2-wheel drive. I was careful at how I drove, but it wasn't a sweat. The condition of the road, I'm pretty sure without too much work I get like Nash's vehicle, the Subaru Crosstrek, in here, but it's got a little bit of lift. It's meant to be outdoorsy and come out here. Your regular height sedans, probably not. Your regular height minivans, again, probably not. Most anything else you probably could. Otherwise, it's like an hour and a half to get here from Seattle, and half an hour of that time is the last 6 miles, just because you need to go slow. Otherwise, it's a quick drive up I-90, and besides that last 6 miles, it's paved. Difficulty of the trail, I'm going to give it either a 2 or a 2.5. Wasn't very difficult. It is a quote-unquote riverside trail, but there is enough ups and downs and arounds and obstacles and such to keep it exciting. It wasn't just some flat wide walkway like some trails, like some riverside trails are, or like the rail trails are. So yeah, and the distance is going to be over 12 miles today when it's all said and done, so that plays a factor. It is low elevation though, so the amount of wind you suck in and blow out is going to just depend on how out of shape you are. And quality or enjoyment, I think either a 2 or a 3 out of 5. Was this worth coming out and doing? Yes. Would I do this again? Probably not anytime soon, unless it's to bring out somebody else out here, get them to stretch their legs out on a fairly easy trail. If the creek crossings over Thunder Creek and Lundin Creek still had their bridges, and most importantly, if there was a bridge over Burnboot Creek so you could complete it to Goldmyer Hot Springs and the Goldmyer Bridge, you would probably get a higher enjoyment level. But between that and the fairly large amount of blowdowns, especially after Rock Creek, I don't think I would advise most people to do the entire trail. Now, if you want to be a quote-unquote normal day hiker and just go to Rock Creek and back and make 6 or 7 miles out of it, then heck yeah, please come do it. Watch out, Mr. Daddy Longlegs. Yeah, please come do it. I advise it, and I'd probably bump it up to a 4-star. I advise it. It's a fun little rough and tumble trail, a little bit wilder than the other low elevation trails in the Middle Fork Valley. But yeah, I think that's going to be about it. And perfect timing. I've been Brandon Scott. I will see you on my next adventure, and ciao.